All right, and welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. This is a coffee edition, something I thought of actually. So, as you've watched, I've had this journey with Turkish coffee since being in Istanbul. To be honest, it's been, oh my God. So to be honest, it's been extremely interesting actually. I'm finding that with Turkish coffee, it is like a halfway between pour over and espresso, right? You don't get, it's not as focused and sharp as an espresso, but it's definitely a lot louder and a lot more powerful than your normal pour over. And I'm really loving it, to be honest. And look, when I get home, I'm going to be using a butane because I'm finding that I think with this, I am slightly over extracting it with a slower brew because the fire's not hot enough. So I want the fire to be basically, I want the brewing on my Chesva to be double the speed, right? But for the meantime, I'm using this and it's been great. Whew, it's hot in here. It is friggin' hot in here. Like I'm sweating like a whore in church. It is unbelievable. But hey, look, I need to be up here because there's nowhere else for me to film. So what I'm going to do today is something a little bit novel. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a trigger warning for the purists out there. I am actually going to side by side a normal Turkish pour and a Turkish pour into a standard Aeropress multi-hole, not a flow control, but a multi-hole. I was thinking about it going, I wonder what it would be like. I didn't want to use the flow control because I didn't want too much pressure onto the beans and liquid, but I want to see the difference because I'm loving the Turkish coffee. In fact, I am seeing myself drinking more and more Turkish coffee and an Americano style kind of coffee. I love the intensity, I love the loudness, and the acidity and fruitiness still comes out, but you also get this massive loud flavor. So today, for all intents and purposes, let me just check. For all intents and purposes, I'm going to do the same grind size today. Okay, and I'm only going to do, I'm just going to do an 8 gram coffee. Just for all intents and purposes, I'm going to do 8 grams, which is a standard Turkish size pour, about 9 grams, 8 to 9 grams here. Okay, so something small. Also, so it doesn't take too fucking long, you know what I mean? Because like this thing here takes about 6.5, 7 minutes. So I'm going to do a 9 gram. Okay, I'm going to do a 9 gram. Anyway, I got my little Xiaomi low speed, high torque. Okay, because I didn't want to ruin my and I'm going to do a ratio of 1 to 10. So that stir. Right, so I'm now pressing the Aeropress. One is raw Turkish, okay, with all the grounds, everything as is. And the other one is the same Chesva method, as exact the same parameters as possible, except Aeropress into my filter. So what I'm curious to see is what is the difference in flavor. I've got my water here, just a standard Nestle water. And you know, obviously my Chesva is still hot, so I've got it here. Let's see the difference in taste. Okay, there's a difference in taste. I'm not even sure if it's up to temperature yet, but the nose. Now this is what's weird, right? Same method, same everything, but one is filtered and one is not. So on top of this coffee here, you've got some foam, and this one here has no foam. So as you can see, one has quite a bit of foam on top, the other one doesn't. The foam actually is just the whatever the beans in it, but also very, 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 very fine particulate that gets caught up in the foam, but not enough to put you off the drinking of it. I don't care at all. I actually really love it. The texture is different. This one has zero foam. So let's first nose it. Like on the nose, there's already a difference, which is really bizarre. On the nose, the Turkish coffee has an earthier, dirtier flavor, and this one has a slightly more crisp flavor. Now maybe as it evaporates and then the smell comes up, this one here, the Turkish coffee, gets, I don't know, maybe the particulate influence the smell, I don't know, but there's a definite earthiness to it. But anyway, let's sip. Look, I'm not going to go through the coffee itself. I'm going to go through the difference. Wow, that's really interesting. Holy shit, it's hot in here. Whew. It's really interesting. So they're both delicious. The one that's been filtered is crisp, it's sharp. The one that hasn't been filtered, I mean, they're the same coffee, but just shows you how much difference the filtration actually makes. The one that hasn't been filtered with the ground still in the cup, as the traditional Turkish coffee is, has so much more body, dirtiness. It has so much more, what's that word? Earthiness, leatheriness. Wow. The difference in the two is dramatic. It kind of takes the soul away from the Turkish coffee itself. I don't think I'll be doing this as a regular thing. I don't like it filtered. If you want filtered, then have filtered coffee. But the Turkish coffee has so much character, it has so much soul. Less vibrant, but so much more Moorish and rich, as opposed to the filtered, which is more vibrant, but less rich. There's an oiliness, a distinct oiliness in the Turkish coffee that the filtered version lacks completely. No oiliness. And that's probably from all of the bits and pieces and little bits and shit that's in there, with everything just poured in there. Wow, the oiliness is just, wow. The vibrance, the fruitiness is definitely more pronounced in the filtered one. Slightly less bitterness, not much bitterness anyway, but slightly less. But the one that's traditional Turkish just has so much more everything. Everything is so loud. So if your palate, if you're not thinking about it and your palate gets confused easily, then the Turkish coffee will confuse you. It's less focused. It is like a generalist as opposed to a specialist. But yeah, I think I really prefer the Turkish coffee. And this is what I love about it. I've been drinking filtered for a while. And actually, I've been drinking almost filtered, all filtered, since I've left for travel 12 months ago. And either Flow Control, Aeropress, or V60. And I've only started drinking Turkish coffee here. And I am falling in love with this Turkish format because it is unrestrained, undiluted, massive amount of flavor, unhindered by filtration. It's completely crazy how when you side by side this, and I know this is blasphemous for some, but I wouldn't recommend doing this. This is just an exercise for curiosity. The filtration has its purpose. It elevates the acid in fruits, and that's great, but it loses the leatheriness, it loses the oil, it loses the earthiness, the dirtiness, the woodiness. And to be honest, now I've side by side it like this, it's a little bit soulless when I filtered it compared to not filtering it. It's like a vindaloo versus a butter chicken. It's really quite interesting. Anyway, I hope that was interesting for you as well. Thank you for joining me. I am dripping with sweat. I am dripping with sweat. It is hot up here. Holy shit. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, make sure you eat, smoke, drink, and caffeinate. Cheers.